stretch today is going to be themed spinal elongation. It's kind of what we always do in Get Supple anyway. The focus is going to be very specifically lengthening the spine. I want you to start by taking your hands together. We're going to inhale, a breathing exercise, bringing the elbows up. So the whole focus is on the inhale, lifting the elbows and resting your thumbs on your collarbones. So if you're really tight in the shoulders, maybe your elbows don't go up this high, and if you're not as tight as I am, maybe your forearms are touching your the outsides of your temples. Then when you exhale, look up to the ceiling and squeeze your elbows together. Try to get them to touch each other. And then we're going to repeat. So inhale, lift. This is a yoga breathing exercise. You might have done this with me before. Exhale, push the head back. So lots of benefits through here. The main thing is the breathing. So really deep inhales through the nose. Exhale. Start to exhale through an open mouth with some force from the throat. So with the inhales, now trying to inhale from the throat. Good. Exhale. It should sound like somebody that's sleeping really deeply, almost snoring. Exhale, elbows touch and squeeze. If you're tight in the shoulder blades, on that exhale squeeze with the elbows, it's really going to pull. You want to squeeze through that pull. So here we go. Exhale. This is where you want to squeeze tight. Try to get the elbows to touch each other the best that you can. Inhale again. And if you're really lucky, you'll get a nice stretch also through the fingers, maybe feeling a couple cracks through the knuckles. This is really a great warming up exercise. Very specific for the neck and shoulders. One more inhale here. And you could really just keep doing that until your elbows aren't getting any higher. But we're going to move on. Inhale, bringing the arms up overhead. I know you might not be able to see the top of my fingers the way the camera's angled, but I've got my fingers interlaced into like a solid fist overhead. Get your elbows as straight as you possibly can. Push the hips forward. And then just start an easy side bend. We're extending the index fingers straight up to help the palms of the hands touch a little bit more closely. And as you're bending from side to side, try to keep the whole front side of your body facing forward, so no twisting. And I find this tough because I'm tighter on one side and my upper body wants to twist. So as you're coming down, we're going to push the hips to the opposite direction. Now start pulling with the bottom arm over. Lean back a little bit more body weight into the heels. And then go down a little bit deeper. We're going to hold this one a little longer. Pulling the top arm over, pushing out through the hips. Inhale, breathe. Exhale, go down a little bit further. Now take the bottom shoulder, roll it forward more. So there's more of the front side of the body facing forward. Inhale, come up. And then up and over to the other side. Good, so slowly coming down and then shifting weight back into the heels. Start pushing your hips to the opposite side. Then using the bottom hand to pull the top arm further over. Stay back in the heels. Now a really deep inhale through the nose. Reaching out through the fingertips. Exhale, come down a little bit further. Squeeze the butt, lean back into the heels more. Take that bottom shoulder and roll it forward more. Coming down a little bit further. Inhale, come all the way up. Okay, so from here, of course, you know, we're going into our four-way standing side bends. We've done the sides. Keep your feet there, keep your knees really straight. Relax your head back. Should be a little bit more flexible because of that exercise that we just did. I'm going to ensure it's going to do this side. And then hips pushing forward. Look back. See the furthest thing that you can see behind you. That's going to be your balance point. And then pull the arms back. So the arms always stay below your chin from your perspective. So the head is always closer to the floor than the arms on that stretch. Then come all the way back up again. We're going to bend the knees just a little bit. Tuck the chin towards the neck and slowly round your upper back to get the fingertips to point towards the floor, but the biceps are still with your ears. So rounding the upper back, important to keep the belly button pulled in tight. Suck your guts in really tight to support your back here.
bending your knees slowly. And this is good practice for any time you bend over. Always suck your guts in when you're bending over. Then you'll never be that person that throws their back out picking up a pencil or picking up a sock or whatever it is. Or you won't be that person again, right? Once your hands are on the floor, you're gonna try bending the knees, alternating right and left. So one leg bends, the other leg straightens. And it's like you're wiggling it isn't like you're wiggling your butt, you are. So you're pushing one sit bone back and then the other one. Okay, if you've got one leg that won't straighten, that's just good information to tuck away into the back of your head about stretching that leg even more later. And then we're gonna hold here with both sit bones tilting up towards the ceiling, body weight in the heels so that you can have your hands now on your ankles or the lowest part of your legs that you're able to grab. We're gonna tuck the chin to the neck. And then, so you're looking up at your belly button from below. Keep your eyes open for balance. This is really key. So you're looking up at your belly button. Start pulling your forehead closer to the shins, below the knees. Belly button still pulling in tight. This is your ab workout. Don't let that belly relax. Abs are in tight, tight, tight to the low back. Now, a little bit more body weight into the balls of the feet. Get your face as close as you can to the legs, and then start lifting the tailbone a little bit higher. This should be uncomfortable. It should be hard to breathe. You should be really feeling this wherever you are. Hang in there. One more deep breath. And then slowly make your way back up again. If you ever have the opportunity to do that four-way standing side bend in a heated space, which is where I first learned it in a hot yoga studio, it's kind of amazing because just that extra heat makes a big difference. But you can also warm up really thoroughly first, like a 20-minute cardio, walk, hike, bike, whatever. Okay, moving on, elongation. Come down on the floor. We're gonna do 3 ELDOA postures, 1 for each segment of the spine, and then we're gonna move on. Nice short session today, but going to feel really, really good from top to bottom. So starting on your back, for the cervical spine, knees above the hips, so the alignment here, ankles across from the knees, feet and hip width apart, palms to the ceiling, fingertips towards the toes, spread your fingers wide, find a stretch in your forearms, keeping the elbows straight. Chin is down towards the neck gently. Pelvic tilt the lower back to the floor. Lower your fingernails to the floor. With no body weight on the floor, we're gonna roll up and keeping the shoulder blades grounded. So make sure you're not in like a full crunch. Shoulder blades are grounded, chin down, and then pushing out through the top of your head and down with your palms or shoulders. Shoulders pressing down towards the hips and then top of the head going in the opposite direction. We're holding for 60 seconds. Belly button is pulling in to the lower back down to the floor. Fingers stay wide. I'm just gonna keep going through all these body parts because don't you find when you adjust one thing, something else kind of moves a little bit, right? So check in, can you get the shoulders down anymore? Plus, the fascia is continuing to stretch the whole time so we can get more and more and more out of this as we go. One more deep breath here. And then hands behind the head. Slowly bring your head back down to the floor, even if it feels like you don't need to. It's just a really good practice not to let your head whip back. Bring the feet down. And then take one knee to your chest. We're going to use one leg, so abs are tight, to rock and roll up. If, however, your back is tender this morning bothering you, just gently turn to your side as you would normally do. So rolling up here to seated, and then turning over onto the hands and knees. Okay, so thoracic spine. Hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips, tuck your toes under, turn your fingers outward, take one arm back, straight back beside your hip, push down, pull the chin up to the neck. So we're trying to make sure we're not rounding the back, but we're not letting the hips sink. Belly button pulls up to the spine. Take a deep breath. Inhale, lengthen out through the crown of your head, and then exhale, push the shoulder down. Switch. Other arm reaches back. Good. Pushing the shoulder down, lengthening out through the crown of the head. The breath is really key. Big stretch. Reach, 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 reach. And then placing the hand back on the floor, having a seat. One more to go. So we're bending the knees. And we go sideways again. Feet at hip width apart. Let the toes lift. Drop the knees open at 90 degrees here. Take the arms out in front, palms facing the wall in front of you. Wrists just at the height of the shoulders. Inhale the arms up. Keeping the arms close to the ears, pull the chin in. See if you can sit nice and tall. So crown of the head right over the tailbone. Arms are trying to pull back by your ears. Important detail here, if you've got one shoulder that's extra tight, just try to keep the symmetry between the two. So the one arm that could go all the way just kind of matches the one that's part way. Drop the shoulders down your back, creating a bigger space gap between the earlobes and the shoulders. But if you know you tend to lean back, sitting up really tall, if you know you tend to lean forward, sitting back, hit that straight vertical line from the crown of your head to the tailbone. Try to relax the knees down. Can you open the fingers any wider? Try to get the palms of the hands more flat under the ceiling. Drop the shoulders more. One more deep breath here. And then one arm at a time. Comes all the way down. All right, that was a nice, short, sweet practice today. And a really good one just to throw in the middle of the day when you're tight, when you're stiff, if you wake up that way, whatever else is going on, a nice deep stretch. Go have a little walk around, see how things are feeling. I hope that you notice not only the elongation, that you feel like you're taller walking around, but just a little more ease through the body as well. Thank you.